including on the playoffs in the road. Oh, it's so good. Mahomes, by the way, said he's ready to go for the AFC title game. The ankle seems to be doing all right. Try to tell you, Key. Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs quarterback, at the press conference about his ankle. Listen to this.
It's doing good. I've had a few days of treatment, a few days of rehab. Excited to get on the practice field and kind of test it out and see where I'm at. But it's feeling good so far.
Key, what do you think?
Well, I mean, look, I talked about the ankle when he first injured it and he played in that second half. He was a little ginger still, but that's because of the soreness from the trauma that came in the first half. You could tell that he would be fine come Wednesday, and I'm not even a doctor, but I had enough injuries in my career to know when you do certain things but you're still on the field and you're still out there participating, that eventually some of that soreness will wear off with the treatment that you get, the inflammation that you get, the meds that you get, the physical therapy that you get, because you're going to be working around the clock. I'm sure when the game was over, he went back into the facility and he started treatment immediately. So he's going to be fine come game time, because that's 4 days from now. And when I say 4 days from now, yesterday was Wednesday. Today is Thursday. You got Friday. You got rest on Saturday. You don't have to get on a plane. You're going to be getting treatment all day Saturday in the hotel. Sunday, you're going to be getting treatment in the morning before you start to play. So essentially, you almost got 5 days of rehab still to go before the game starts.
So, Jay, we saw the odds go from 3-point favorites, Kansas City Chiefs, which I agree with. I'm with the bettors here. They're due to pop the Bengals one of these days. They've been playing great all season. The Chiefs are going to win this. And then when I look at Mahomes' high ankle sprain and the way he's limping around last game, I'm like, I'm with the bettors. Yeah, Bengals by a point. Maybe they nip him again, right? But with Patrick Mahomes now practicing and not in a walking boot, should the Chiefs be considered? We're going to have to watch the odds now, see if they change. Should they be considered the favorites again?
Aren't they? It's pretty much a pick 'em now, isn't it?
Is it pick 'em already?
I think it's almost like a
pick 'em.
pick 'em.
Pick 'em.
It's pick 'em. You're right.
Now.
Yeah, there it is.
I got my ticket in yesterday. Just want you to know. Excited about it.
Yes, pick 'em now, but tomorrow, by tomorrow we come on the show, I can almost guarantee you that Kansas City is going to be slightly favored tomorrow, because he'll practice today. That noise will come up and come out, and people start, and then they'll start saying Kansas City's going to win.
Yep.
Well, with all this, like, Key, just watching, I mean, look, this is the AFC Championship game. I mean, who in the world thought that Patrick Mahomes was not going to play? Like, and even if he was
of course
injured,
he's going to play.
Like, it's just like these meaningful games. Like, this is, to me, this rivalry between Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, or because of what's on the line for Joe Burrow. We talk about who's the best quarterback in football right now. Like, there's no way in hell I would have thought that Patrick Mahomes was going to find a way to play through that injury. Like, if you're injured, you play through it. Does not matter in this game.
Which quarterback has the most on the line this weekend? So I do something on this just in, 2 p.m. Eastern, ESPN, called tier pressure. Right now, the way we do tier pressure is a lot of times we'll go, it's like pyramid style. So it's 3, 2, 1. But I'm going to give you one on top, two. I'm going to give you just from 1 to 4 who has the most pressure on, okay, this weekend. Conference championship game quarterbacks. Maybe I'll give you 4 to 1. At
number 4,
Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, it's gravy, man. He's the only non-Superman. Everyone else is from Krypton left at quarterback in these playoffs, right? He's the only Earthling left. And if he does nothing else this year, this dude went to the NFC Championship game, Mr. Irrelevant, as a rookie. But if he gets to the Super Bowl, for the first time ever, a rookie quarterback takes the team to the Super Bowl. Ever. For the first time ever, Mr. Irrelevant takes a team to a Super Bowl. He's both. It's all upside for Brock Purdy.
number 3,
Jalen Hurts. Look, Jalen Hurts has pressure on him, no doubt. He is supposed to be the difference in this game should the Eagles win, right? But the Niners have, top to bottom, you look at this team and you look at the last time they lost 1,000,000 years ago, no one would be surprised if the Niners won. So while Jalen Hurts is clearly facing a lot of pressure, the fact that the Niners are as good as they are takes a little something off it. Plus, if you look at the play calling early in the last game, it's not that Jalen Hurts was just feeling fine. It's that he's so multidimensional, he can beat you even if he's not 100%.
Number 2.
Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow got a lot of pressure on him, but he's the guy who has beaten Patrick Mahomes 3 times. He is the defending AFC champion. If he loses to Patrick Mahomes, it's like, oh, man, he was in the Super Bowl. First year he was healthy as a starter. Very next year he gets back to the AFC championship game. He's good. Now, kind of like Brock Purdy, there's a lot of upside for him because if he beats Mahomes again and takes him back to the Super Bowl, good Lord. Now, once he gets back to the Super Bowl, if that happens, now he's facing a lot of pressure because you don't want to be that dude who starts to get that, well, he can get you there but can't get over the top. But for this game, I think he has the second most pressure, which leaves
Number 1.
Patrick Mahomes. I can't believe it's like this. Listen, Oscar Gamble, designated hitter and outfielder for the Yankees in my youth. Remember Oscar Gamble with the big fro with a batting helmet on it, right? Oscar Gamble has the greatest quote of all time. People don't think it be like it is, but it do. I can't believe it be like it is right now, but it do. It do. Patrick Mahomes, with all he's accomplished, has got the most pressure on him this weekend because he's facing the guy who's beaten him 3 times. And every time it was by outplaying him in the fourth quarter, including at home with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. So somehow, some way, the guy who threw 5 seasons as a starter is clearly and by far the greatest who ever did it through 5 seasons. Patrick Mahomes accomplished the most, best eyeball test, best numbers, the whole thing. Somehow, there'll be a guy who could maybe make the case he's ahead of him, and you're going to lose to that guy again at home in the AFC conference? No, that he got the most pressure on him. What do you think of my list? Go ahead, Key.
I think it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I would swap 1 and 2. I will put Joe Burrow ahead of Patrick Mahomes and drop Mahomes to 2, just because of the simple fact that I'm looking at everything, not just him going up against Patrick Mahomes, but I'm also looking at the fact that they're going to have a number of high-priced free agents at the end of this year that they've got to figure out how to bring back or whatever they need to do, replace these guys. So when you start to think about it, this is a perfect opportunity when you have all of your receivers and you have a secondary intact that's playing well. You just got pieces that right now you could do the deal. That's not the case with Mahomes and company. Mahomes and company, they can wind back up in this situation again next year because they got all their pieces coming back. There's questions on whether or not you can pay T. Higgins when Jamar Chase will be up and Joe Burrow will be up, all of that. So it's a perfect opportunity for him to seize this moment right now. And I think they know that inside the building in Cincinnati. So that's the reason I bring all that pressure to him versus Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is, he's been to 5 championships, Super Bowl. It's like I won. It's not a lot of pressure.
That's a different perspective, sure. I think the bigger story is this rivalry between the two. But go ahead, Jay.
Well, Brandon Beam, Key, talked about that for the Buffalo Bills, where he's saying, hey, they have a lot of young players on rookie-like contracts, including Joe, which allows you to kind of manipulate the cap, where the Bills have to pay Stephon Diggs, have to pay Josh Allen these large, massive contracts. So we will say that the Bengals handle that moving forward. I agree with the list. I think there is, I don't know if I probably the most pressure. I know we like pressure, but I think for what's at stake for Joe Burrow probably has the most to gain here out of anybody. That's how I would phrase it.
And Mahomes has the most to lose versus Joe Burrow. Now, if Burrow gets to the Super Bowl, he's got the most. Could you imagine? You don't want to start as much as he's done. Oh, and now you can't get over the top in the big one? All right. We want to hear from you. And 888 say ESPN. Is Bengals-Chiefs a rivalry? Mel Kiper explains what the Bears should do with the top pick. That's all coming up. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
C.J. Stroud could end up being the first quarterback off the board with his size, the way he throws accurately to all levels. That Georgia game in particular stood out the way